At my sister's 300-guest wedding, Mom raised her glass and asked, "So, when is your turn?" I said, "8 months ago. You were invited. Your favorite daughter threw the invitation in the trash. It happened during the reception, under crystal chandeliers that cost more than my entire year's rent." My mother smiled at me with that familiar blend of pity and condescension. "So, Sophia," she asked, voice projecting over the music, "when is it going to be your turn? Drop a comment and let me know where you are listening from. Have you ever realized your family was rooting against you?" The reception hall went quiet. Not silent, but that heavy, suffocating quiet where people sense blood in the water. I looked at my parents, comfortable in their designer clothes. I looked at my sister Delilah in her $40,000 couture gown. Her hair perfectly styled for her 2 million Instagram followers. This wasn't just a wedding, it was a coronation. Delilah, the lifestyle curator, was merging her brand with the venture capitalist empire of the Sterling family. I was just a prop. 8 months ago, I said clearly. I got married 8 months ago. You were invited. But my favorite daughter over there threw the invitation in the trash. The string quartet stopped. Delilah's glass froze halfway to her lips. "You're lying," Delilah snapped, her voice sharp. "You're just trying to ruin my day because you're jealous." My mother looked confused. "Sophia, sweetheart, we never received an invitation. You never told us." "February 12th, I said, my voice steady. "FedEx overnight delivery. Signature required. 4 velvet boxes." Delilah signed for the package at 10:15 a.m. My father stood up, face turning red. "If we didn't respond, why didn't you call? You expect us to believe you got married without us." "Because I trusted you," I lied. The truth was, I had been trained not to call. But today the training was over. "She's having an episode." Delilah laughed nervously, turning to the crowd. "I am so sorry. My sister has been under a lot of stress. Jealousy is such an ugly look." The guests shifted, eyeing me with pity. The unstable sister. The narrative they had built for years. I reached into my clutch and pulled out a folded piece of paper. I unfolded it slowly. "I'm not jealous, Delilah. I'm having a moment of clarity." I held up the printed screenshot. A digital RSVP from my wedding website. Timestamped 1 year ago. Status: decline. Note: the family will be on a mental health retreat that weekend. Please do not disturb. "You told me they were on a retreat," I said to Delilah. "And you told them I was in rehab." Delilah's face went white. "I didn't just get married," I said to Samuel, the stunned groom. "I've been married for a year. My family wasn't there because my sister decided I didn't deserve them." I looked at my parents. They stared at me with horror. Not at what Delilah had done, but because I had dared to expose it. I had broken the family rule. Image is everything. "Samuel," I said softly, "ask your wife about her close friends list on Instagram. My husband found something interesting in the archives." I sat down and took a sip of champagne. Samuel stared at the paper in my hand like it was a death sentence. He looked at the timestamp, then at Delilah. "You told me you were at a spa weekend," he said. "I was." Delilah's voice pitched up, frantic. "Samuel, are you going to believe a screenshot over your wife? Sophia is unwell. She's trying to ruin our moment." I looked past them, out toward the terraced gardens. They didn't know the ground they were standing on was my resume. I was the lead landscape architect who renovated this resort. I had designed the drainage slopes, selected the native grasses, created the infinity lawn Delilah was standing on. It was a portfolio piece I hoped would make my parents proud. They never even asked what I did for a living. To them, I just played with plants. I let the chaos fade and remembered my own wedding day. The ghost wedding. It was a Gray County courthouse. Dylan and I waited. 10 a.m. 10:15. 10:30. No text, no calls. Just the silence of a family group chat that had gone dormant. "Maybe there is traffic," Dylan had said, trying to be kind. I stood there in a simple white slip dress, feeling the weight of the invisible chain. For years, I believed that if I just performed better, achieved more, was quieter and more useful, I would earn my seat at their table. It is a paralysis you learn when you are the scapegoat. You analyze what you did to deserve the pain instead of realizing your family are predators. At 10:32 a.m., the chain snapped. They weren't late. They were absent. I married Dylan with strangers as witnesses. When I said "I do," I wasn't just accepting him. I was divorcing them. Back in the tent, the ocean breeze felt cool. She's not unwell, I said, cutting through Delilah's babbling. And I'm not confused. I designed this venue, Samuel. I know exactly how things are built. And I know how they are destroyed. I turned to my parents. Joshua was purple with rage. Rachel was weeping into a napkin. I waited for you for an hour at the courthouse, I told them. I thought I wasn't enough. But it wasn't about me, was it? It was about control. Sophia, stop this. Joshua barked. You are embarrassing yourself. You are ruining your sister's business merger. Business merger, I repeated. Is that what this is? I looked at Dylan by the AV booth. He gave me a nod. You called me a liar, I said to the room. You said I invented a wedding. But I deal in reality, concrete soil roots, and data. I signaled Dylan. Show them. My father stormed toward the head table. How dare you, he bellowed. You ruin everything, Sophia. This isn't about me, I said calmly. This is about integrity. Integrity. He laughed harshly. You're destroying the family legacy. Legacy. You mean your retirement fund. You mean the status you built on credit. My mother stood up sobbing. Sophia, please. We are family. Families protect each other. Why do you hate us? I don't hate you, Mom, I said, feeling the old guilt flicker before vanishing. I just stopped loving the version of myself that let you hurt me. Delilah seized the moment. She grabbed the microphone, eyes brimming with practiced tears. It was a glitch, she cried. The website crashed. The RSVP system sent wrong notifications. I didn't know. A glitch, Samuel repeated flatly. A glitch told Sophia we were at a mental health retreat. Yes, it must have auto-filled. Delilah insisted. Samuel, look at her. She's clearly unstable. She's just a gardener. She doesn't understand our world. A gardener, I said. Who built the stage you are standing on? The crowd murmured. The whisper campaign was working. Is she crazy? Is it a glitch? Doubt crept in. This was how they won. Rewriting reality until you questioned your own sanity. Enough. Dylan stepped out from the shadows. He wasn't a prop in a tuxedo. He was in a sharp dark suit. He looked like a prosecutor. Who is that? Joshua demanded. That is my husband, I said with pride. Dylan. And he verifies stories. Dylan walked to the projector. My name is Dylan Vance, he announced, voice clear. I am a senior forensic data analyst. My job is to recover what people think they have deleted. Delilah froze. Terror replaced the act. A website glitch doesn't leave a footprint of intent, Dylan said, tapping his tablet. But a deleted file from a cloud backup does. Specifically, a video file recorded on February 12th of last year. Titled, Burn Notice, in a folder labeled, Close Friends Only. He looked at Delilah. You forgot about the cloud sync. Digital malice leaves a trail. Stop him. Joshua shouted at security. Turn that off. Actually, I interjected. This venue operates under a smart contract system I helped install. As lead architect, I retain admin privileges until the final walkthrough. Which hasn't happened. Dylan pressed a button. Let's see the glitch. The screens flickered. The slideshow of engagement photos vanished. A vertical video appeared. It was Delilah. She was in her apartment, wearing a silk robe, holding my wedding invitation. The audio echoed through the silent tent. So, Sophia thinks she's getting a family reunion, Delilah said to the camera, voice dripping with amusement. She held the invite to a candle flame. Oops. Looks like the gardener isn't getting her family photo op. The flame caught the paper. Delilah laughed. Sorry, sis. No room for you in the aesthetic. She dropped the burning invitation into a trash can and winked. Close friends only, obvi. Don't tell Mom. The video ended on her smirk. The silence was absolute. Heavier than before. This wasn't family drama. It was evidence. Premeditated malice. Samuel stared at the screen, face draining of color. He looked at the freeze frame, then at the woman he had just pledged his life to. Close friends only, he repeated hollowly. Samuel, baby, it was a joke. Delilah shrieked, grabbing his arm. It was just content. Samuel pulled away as if she were radioactive. You intercepted her mail. You burned it. And you laughed. It was for the story, she pleaded. No, Samuel said. It was cruelty. He turned to me. Sophia. I'm so sorry. I swear I didn't know. I know you didn't, I said. Samuel looked back at Delilah. The charm vanished, replaced by steel. I think we need to talk about an annulment, he said. Delilah gasped. What? Samuel. The merger. My brand. The merger is dead, a voice boomed. Samuel's father stood up at the VIP table. He signaled to my father with a cutting motion across his throat. The deal is off, Joshua. We don't partner with liabilities. The perfect day dissolved into chaos. Guests raised phones recording the fallout. My parents stood frozen, watching their golden future evaporate. Delilah collapsed, sobbing for the loss of her audience. Samuel walked off the stage, past his weeping bride, past my parents. He nodded to me and walked out into the night. I looked at Dylan. He held my hand. We didn't need to speak. The truth had spoken. 3 days later, the video of Delilah burning the invitation had leaked. It was everywhere. The internet dubbed her the bride who burned bridges. Delilah lost 400,000 followers in 48 hours. Her brand deals were terminated. The lifestyle curator became a cautionary tale. I was sketching a new garden layout when a courier arrived. He handed me a thick envelope from my father. Inside was a cashier's check for $100,000. And a letter. Sophia, it read. The Sterling family pulled out. Our investors are nervous. This check is a gesture of goodwill. In exchange, you will sign the enclosed non-disclosure agreement, retract your statements, and issue an apology stating the video was performance art. We need to save the family reputation. Do the right thing. I stared at the check. $100,000. It could pay off our mortgage. Could fund my firm. But I felt a cold revulsion. My father thought this was a transaction. He believed that because he had no internal value system, no integrity, no loyalty, he could purchase mine. It was the illusion of the empty wallet. He thought money could fill the void where his character should be. But money doesn't fix rot. It just gilds it. They think I'm for sale, I told Dylan. They think everyone is for sale, Dylan said with disgust. Because they sold themselves long ago. They had sold their relationship with me for Delilah's image. Now they wanted to buy back their dignity. The NDA demanded I lie. It demanded I erase my reality to protect their delusion. I'm not signing this, I said. I walked to the shredder in my office. The machine hummed to life. I want to send a message they can't misinterpret, I said. I fed the check into the shredder. The blade sliced the 6 figures into worthless confetti. I watched it disappear, feeling lighter. I took a photo of the shredded paper and opened the family group chat. You can't buy what you never owned, I typed. My silence isn't for sale. And neither am I. I hit send. Then, for the first time, I blocked them. All of them. Cut the cord. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was peaceful. It was the silence of a garden after a storm. I stood in my own garden, a patch of wild lavender and sage. Dylan poured 2 glasses of wine. Regrets, he asked. Did I regret the money? Well, did I regret the family I lost? I realized I hadn't lost a family. I had lost a fantasy. I had lost people who required me to be small so they could feel big. No regrets, I said. Just relief. My phone buzzed. It was an email from Samuel. Sophia, it read. The annulment is moving forward. Thank you. You saved me from a life of performance. I hope you find the peace you deserve. Closed the email. I looked at Dylan. He was my family. The friends who supported me, the clients who valued my work, they were my family. We walked through the lavender. For 30 years, I had tried to build a home on structurally unsound ground. I had tried to plant roots in toxic soil. Now I was the architect of my own life. I could build whatever I wanted. And I would build it on a foundation of truth. Sophia realized that family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up. If you've ever had to walk away to save yourself, share this story. You are not alone.